Welcome back to IDP Bets. My name is Johny the Greek. How is everybody doing? Happy week 4. Hope you guys had a good week 3. We did. We went 5-1 last week. Very good week. I was 3-0 myself. I learned from those cornerback props and went with some more solid linebacker things this last week. So, we're all making adjustments here. I have a very special guest tonight. He is a very good friend, known degenerate. He's an IDP guy's OG. He helped, set up the site back in the day. He now works for Footballguys as an IDP contributor, well-known Packers fan, hole-in-one maker on the golf course. That is actually true. He is Kyle Bellefeuil at KBelf, BELLF 54 on Twitter. Kyle, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Johnny, man. That is like quite the intro, man. You're making me blush over here, the hole-in-ones and the OG. Good stuff. No, I'm happy to be here, man. Appreciate you having me on, and definitely a known degenerate here. And you guys did kill it last week because I made money right along with you guys. I know where the brain power for this tackle props is, so I tuned in and follow along right with you dudes, man. So thanks. I owe you lunch.
Yeah, sounds good. But I'm just happy we didn't screw the pooch in front of hundreds and thousands of people. I'll live with that. Thank you.
You know how it goes. It's the ups and downs, man. We've been here before.
Yeah. No doubt, buddy. No doubt. All right. So before we get into it tonight, just a quick reminder: these are not even suggestions. We're literally just discussing the bets we may be making personally. Set a limit and stick to it. For help with problem gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. We got 3 apiece. We'll see how long that takes. We may have some bonus thoughts for you. Let's start with Mr. Bellefeuil, though. What do you got for your first favorite IDP bet week 4?
Right on, buddy. So my first bet is Blake Cashman, linebacker from the Vikings, over 7.5 tackles against Green Bay. The line was minus 145 on DraftKings. Green Bay has been a pretty favorable matchup for linebackers to start the year. They're allowing just over 20 tackles a game, 20.6 via our Footballguys tool to opposing linebackers through 3 weeks. Part of that might be due to the Malik Willis show that's been in Green Bay the last couple of weeks. They ran the ball 53 times against Indianapolis because it was one of those, if it ain't broke, why the hell would you fix it, right? Just keep running it up the middle. So on top of all the run game shenanigans, the Green Bay offense is 14th in the league in plays per game with 61.3. Even though Jordan Love is getting healthier, they're still keeping that pretty close to the vest with a big division game against Minnesota untapped. No surprise, they're going to go right up until last-minute inactives. Typically, a way to tell if he's going to be the starter that I've noticed the past few weeks is if Sean Clifford gets activated Saturday night by 7 o'clock, they have to pull up the emergency quarterback or whoever from your practice squad anyway. But we'll see how that works out. But either way, whoever's under center, there'll be tackle opportunities, whether it's Love or Willis. Cashman has only gone over 7.5 once this year. He had 13 tackles against San Francisco back in week 2. However, he was part of the blowout against Houston this past week. He got to sit and drink Gatorade on the sidelines for the fourth quarter and high five his teammates. So that's not great for opportunities late in the game. So, Cashman. Cashman's a green dot linebacker for Minnesota. He's the only full-time Viking linebacker typically at the moment. He'll get the snaps in a heated division game at Lambeau, and the matchup is favorable for him to hit the number with what Green Bay has given us to start the year. Ernest Jones and Kenneth Murray both hit it. Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed both hit over 7.5, and Zach Bond hit over 7.5 as well against Green Bay. So that's all 3 weeks. Those guys that play full-time snaps to hit this number. Cashman had the dud there last week, but didn't play the fourth quarter. And this stacks up to a pretty nice opportunity for him to get over here with a pretty good matchup.
I love it, man. And this blew my mind a little bit. The Green Bay rushing offense through 2 weeks was averaging 222 yards a game, which was absolutely nuts. They're still the number 1 rushing team in the league. 37 attempts per game. That's absolutely nuts. And
It
like you
is.
said, number two overall for linebacker tackles allowed, and that makes sense, right? Those easy run
Yep.
stopping tackles, the
Yep.
number of attempts. Yeah, that feels real good to me. I like that.
Yeah, I was really hoping this number would come in under 8. I'm like, man, if that's 7.5, I'm hitting it right away. So, yeah, that was my first line I was checking out. I wanted to see the Cashman line against Green Bay because it's a little sneaky after a down week last week and a pretty good matchup for them.
Yeah, good call. I like that. That's a good one, buddy. I am also going to go with a linebacker for my first one here. A little bit more iffy, but it is plus money, so it's worth the risk a little bit here. I'm going to go Lavonte David over 8.5 combined. This week they have got the Eagles. So David has not cleared this line yet this season, but he's been close with 8 last week and 7 the week prior. This week, he gets the third overall rushing offense in the league with Philadelphia. They're doing 167 yards per game on the ground and 33 attempts per game on the ground. So plenty of opportunities for easy run stopping tackles. We're not going to have Devonta Smith. We may not have A.J. Brown. And last week, their game plan, Philly's game plan without A.J. Brown was 25 rushes for 172 yards. And a crap load of Dallas Goedert, which is typically shorter passes in the middle linebacker area. So without Devonta Smith at the minimum this week, and maybe without A.J. Brown, I would expect more of the same. Plenty of easy run stopping tackles for Lavonte. Philly is 9th overall for linebacker tackles allowed at about 19 per game. And without Antoine Winfield Jr. again, there should be plenty of opportunity to eat for Lavonte, and he has shown a solid appetite throughout his career at 8.9 tackles per game last season, and multiple seasons of that, if not better, in previous seasons. So I'm just a little surprised at the slow start for him, but it's not that slow. 8 last
Yeah.
week, 7 the week before. I mean, that's fine. I'll take that. What do you think about that one?
No, I love this call. Like you said, with the wide receivers being out, and Philly likes to run the ball either way, but especially right when if Brown and they're both ruled I know Devonta Smith was ruled out. And it looks like Brown's not going to play, like you said, right? So I mean, feed it to Barkley and and run it with Hurts, and yeah, I think the quick hitters to Dallas Goedert, like you said too, that's money in the bank for Lavonte David there in the middle of the field in that short area. So, and like you said, he's been doing this forever. So I like that call a lot. That script lines up for him to have plenty of opportunities, man. I really like that one.
Right, and we were talking about this before we kicked off too. And in my eyes, this show is more about the thought processes of all the guests
Yeah,
and the hosts, and we've been betting IDP for a while, betting for a while,
yeah,
playing IDP for a while, right? So I
yeah,
I want to hear the different thought processes and then use that information to make my own bets. So hopefully that's what we're doing here.
yeah. Absolutely, man. You nailed it. That's I couldn't agree more.
All right, buddy. What do you got for number 2 for week 4?
Number 2 is Kyzir White, linebacker for Arizona, over 8.5 tackles against Washington. White has hit over 8.5 tackles in 2 out of 3 weeks. He had 11 tackles in week 1 and week 3. I think he had like 10 assists last week, but we'll take him however the hell we can get him, right? It don't matter. Still those assists as long as he overhits. He had 7 in week 2, but only played 85% of the snaps with Arizona taking it to the Rams. So that was the only week he went under so far. But then again, he didn't, he missed a few snaps with it getting a little out of hand. Washington is allowing just shy of 20 tackles a game to opposing linebackers at 19.7 and is middle of the pack in plays run at 60.7 plays per game, good for 15th in the league. The Washington offense was humming last Monday night against Cincinnati. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt both hit this number with 9 tackles each. Micah McFadden also hit this number in week 2. Bobby Okereke fell just 1 short. So, we're seeing guys hover right around this number. The Tampa Bay unit they played, I think Lavonte David just missed it. And then that other spot, KJ Britt and Servassier Dennis split time anyway. So it's not really a full-time spot we're targeting yet for a prop for those guys, right? We want the snaps. And White typically has been the only full-time linebacker for Arizona. Mac Wilson did see a season-high snap share of 87% last week, but that could have been a game plan against the Detroit offense last week. So I don't believe that until I see it stick a little more that's going to be a consistent thing. So it's typically just White roaming around as the only full-time guy getting more of the opportunities. With White typically being the only full-time linebacker, playing what looks to be a very competent offense from what we saw last week, and Arizona playing enough of an LB-friendly zone coverage at 71.6%, keeps everything in front of him, funnels to him. I think he gets a good shot at getting us 9 stops this week.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. And I think he would have gotten it. What was it, week 2, except for the blowout, right? So it was
exactly.
11 combined, 7 combined, 11 combined. What's different about those games? Early rest in that blowout with the game where he had 7. So he's like essentially averaging double-digit tackles right now. And then Washington is tied with Green Bay at 20 linebacker tackles per game. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And they're an offense that looks like they can sustain drives, right? They got a mobile quarterback, they got a running game, and it's typically just White as the only full-time guy out there as well. So I mean, he's got some room to work, and he's not fighting with the guy next to him full time. So, but I was big on Kyzir White coming in this year with that rolling scheme, and he's been hitting these numbers that are, he's typically, like you said, the only week he didn't hit his number was because he got to take a few plays off at the end when it got out of hand. So, but this one should be, after seeing Washington play Cincinnati last week. I think this should be a good game, right?
Right. It's I think it's got the highest over under this week too. It's like 50 or 50, 50 and a half. Whenever you see 5-0 from Vegas,
yes.
we're in for a show, no doubt.
Yep, exactly.
Alrighty, that is good stuff right there. I'm going to pick it up with my second one here. We got Troy Andersen, who was very good to us last week. Gave us 12 combined tackles, which was excellent. That was way over this same line that he had last week. So I'm going to go back to the well here. Troy Andersen over 7.5 combined tackles, minus 145. He's up against the Saints this week. They've got the 6th overall rushing attack in the league. They're averaging 35 attempts per game. I was a little worried about Kamara, but he did get 2 limited practices in and looks good to go for this weekend, unless I missed an update here in the last few minutes, which is possible. They're coming fast and furious these days. But regardless, even if it's Jamal Williams, I still feel good about this. The Saints are 5th in the league for allowing linebacker tackles each week at 19.7 per game. Troy Andersen has cleared this line easily since becoming the full-time starter with the exit of Nate Landman. He had 12 last week, 9 the week prior. Those happen to be the 2 weeks he's been the full-time guy next to Caden Ellis. So this feels like a low line for a full-time inside linebacker against an offense that's as good as New Orleans is most weeks, especially with the ridiculous amount of rushing attempts they put up and the short passes over the middle to Kamara. What do you think about that one?
Oh, I love this line. Yeah, I'm right with you. You guys hit this line last week. I tailed you there, and I was happy to see that you're on this line, and it came in at 7.5 again. Like you said, Landman's out. Troy Andersen's getting full-time snaps, and then you got Caden Ellis getting some edge snaps and pass rush snaps, right? So he's out of his way even. And Andersen's a guy that can flat out run and go get it. That's what we saw last week with his 12 tackles. Man, he can get them in front of him. He can get them from range, and he can get them from anywhere. So I love this line as well, man. This is a great call. And the matchups, right? The matchup's perfect. So
yeah, the matchup's perfect, and it's like that. That's just low. I mean, Vegas, they're obviously on top of everything, but I still like they're still a little behind the times on a couple things, like Riley Moss last week, and
I was gonna say I could see
you know what I mean,
this line like you did last week.
Yeah, we know you're watching, Vegas.
This was the one we were talking before the show, the Riley Moss line moving, and you guys had a little something to do with that. And this is one I think could be moving as well due to the old Johny the Greek special here.
Yeah. We'll see if we move the needle or not. That'd be nice.
Love it. I love it.
Beautiful. Well, what do you got for number 3, buddy?
Number 3, we're gonna shift gears for a safety here. Kyle Duggar from New England, over 5.5 tackles against San Francisco. It initially came in minus 154 at DraftKings. Like we were talking before, it shifted to 6.5 at plus money, which I'm still good with as well. So like this line, I'm cool with plus money too because of this matchup. But anyway, the 5.5 number is a little more ideal. But Duggar went over the 5.5 number in week 1 against Cincinnati with 6 tackles, and week 2, 9 tackles against Seattle in 2 competitive games. He only had 3 tackles against the Jets in a yawn fest in week 3. That was just an ugly New England game. It's not the first time we've seen a dud from a good player in this degenerate game we play, right, Johnny? It happens. Offensively, San Francisco is 4th in the league, running 67.3 plays per game through the first 3 weeks. Players need an opportunity to make tackles, and the 49ers and the Shanahan offense provide that by sustaining drives and giving them chances. So the 49ers are allowing 20.7 tackles to the safety position, 20.7 tackles a game to the safety position so far via our Footballguys tool. That can always look different depending on your player position designation by whatever tool you're using, but they've been a pretty favorable matchup. They're 7th in fantasy points allowed to safeties via Footballguys scoring. We don't care about fantasy points in this setting, but all this is to say San Francisco has been pretty friendly to safeties so far. Through 3 games, Duggar has spent 61.3% of his snaps up in the IDP sweet spot, the box, slot, defensive line. We know that's where the money happens as far as tackles. You got to get up near the action. He sees a good amount of time up tight near the action, which is ideal for him to hit this tackle number for us. Quentin Lake and Cam Curl hit this last week. Cameron Bynum, Josh Metellus, who Metellus is basically a linebacker, hit it in week 2, and Tony Adams hit it in week 1. They all went over this number. So I'm just saying, don't let a fellow Kyle down here, brother. Let's do it together, Kyle.
I love that, man. And here's, for a different betting outlook / article, I took San Fran, with a spread this week because they're the number 1 time of possession team. And I feel like 36 minutes a game. So, this New England defense could be on the field legitimately 40 minutes this week, and I would not be shocked at all, right? And if they get behind, which is going to happen at some point, they're the worst passing attack in the league. So it's going to be a Nick Bosa fest. It's going to be, it's going to be one of those games where they're salting it away in the 3rd and 4th quarter. I feel like too. This is all just extra opportunities for Duggar to get over this line. And yeah, everything you're saying lines up with exactly what I saw. I feel like this is a slam dunk. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, I dig it, man. I'm happy you're digging it as well. And like I said, if that line does shift the plus money with at 6.5, I'm good with that too. I love the 5.5, but you're getting better odds at 6.5. The matchup's good. I'm taking it either way. But initially, I'm in at 5.5. I already made that one. So this one, it's a get right week after a dud for Duggar last week in that stink fest against the Jets.
Exactly. And he's one of the top safeties we take every year for normal IDP anyway, because of production like this, week in and week out. Yeah. I like it so much that my 3rd bet is Jahlani Tavai over 7.5 combined tackles at plus money, which is crazy, plus 105. So Tavai had 10 last week in his first week as a full-time linebacker due to the departure of Bentley, right? So he's up against the Niners, who are allowing about 20 linebacker tackles per game, 6th overall for that ranking. San Fran is the 10th overall rushing offense. We're looking at 32 attempts per game. Could be more if they're salting this one away late, like we were just talking about. Number 1 overall time of possession team at 36 minutes a game, facing a New England team with, the worst passing attack in the league and one of the worst offenses in the league. So if New England gets into a hole in this, it's a wrap. It's a game where the Patriots are going to spend all day on defense. As long as Tavai, the only thing that worries me is maybe Tavai gets pulled a little early because this thing's out of hand. As long as he gets his normal full playing time, I have zero concern about this. That's the only thing that could jam us up. But this points towards an absolute bloodbath. But I don't know. What do you think? Is there a chance these guys get pulled early, or does New England keep it kind of close?
Yeah, I think there's if New England can. Last week against the Jets, like they could not get Stevenson going. They couldn't get that running game going to get the offense going to open up the pass. Jacoby Brissett just isn't it. If they can establish a little bit, like you said, time of possession matters, right? You gotta be able to keep the ball sustained a few drives. Yeah, I mean, I could, and they're New England always does weird shit and keeps games you're not expecting close, right? It just
Yep.
seems, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it yet. If they can just kind of establish a little bit of a flow, they just couldn't get it going at all against the Jets. But I'm not. I think even if you get 3.5 quarters of Tavai in his full-time role, he could hit this number. Being that, like you said, they're going to be just stuffing it in Jordan Mason's belly. And whoever else is on, even though they don't have McCaffrey, it's going to be whoever else. They might grab a guy who's eating a burger off the lunch table and I give him a few carries too. They're just going to roll out whoever. So.
Exactly, man. These are Duggar and Tavai. These are the kind of lines, and forget that the kind of setup where this could be done by halftime. These guys could have this by halftime,
yes.
and I would not be surprised at all. Like everything is pointing towards San Fran just steamrolling these guys. So
yes. I'm happy you brought that up because I did have the same thought as you there because I targeted this game with the matchup, but at the end of putting it together, I was like, I'm not too worried if they get a few plays off at the end, but because they're gonna see plenty of opportunity, I think.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. Okay, so we did that real quick. Let's do a little bonus here. Is there anything else you've targeted so far this week? Let me put a couple on your plate here. So I saw 3+ money upsets, quote unquote, that I like this week.
Okay.
So Steelers money line. I don't think that's plus money, but it's essentially a pick 'em against Indianapolis.
Okay.
I like them to win that outright. I have no issues with that. Bills are getting plus money at Baltimore on Sunday night, and the Bills to me look like the best team in the league right now. Baltimore couldn't beat a crappy Vegas team and almost got caught by a really crappy Cowboys team last week. So I like that too. And then also Rams are plus money against the Chicago Bears that are struggling as well. Do you like any of those, or what else you got on your plate this week?
No, I like those calls. Pittsburgh against Indy at plus money. I mean, Justin Fields is moving the ball and he's giving them a competent quarterback. And they're a gritty team, right? A classic Mike Tomlin team. In Indianapolis, I mean, I got to see Anthony Richardson in person against Green Bay, and the dude makes some great throws, and then he airmails some too. So you're kind of not sure what you're going to get. Obviously, if you can establish Jonathan Taylor, that really makes it a little easier on him and everything. But I like that Pittsburgh line. And Buffalo looked fantastic against Jacksonville. I know we're trying to figure out what the hell Jacksonville is right now, but I mean, we're all NFL teams here, and to just roll a team like that, Josh Allen looked fantastic. Plus money there, and then what was the last one?
Oh, the Rams plus money. Yeah, they're at Chicago, but it's like
Chicago.
Caleb Williams looks awful, and I will take the Super Bowl winning veteran quarterback who it's not his first rodeo, even without his favorite weapons, even if it's the Kyron Williams show again. I'll still take him over a struggling Bears team any day of the week.
Absolutely. Stafford's, like you said, Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's smart. He's going to get the ball out quick. And, I know the receivers aren't there. Puka Nacua and Kupp aren't there, but, they're going to put guys in spots that they're going to be able to do something in, right? McVay's a smart guy, and so is Stafford. And Kyron Williams is fine. And they'll get pressure on Caleb Williams. The offensive line in Chicago is struggling, is put it nicely, and Caleb Williams is struggling too. But, yeah, I like those plus money bets. Those are good calls, Johnny.
Nice. And anything you came up with, or any other IDP props, or even situations that you think might lead to a prop that you like this week?
I was looking at the lines; they hadn't come out yet for Miami against Tennessee, solely because I got to see Green Bay get to Will Levis regularly last week. I mean, we have 8 sacks in the second half. It was just too easy, man. They were just getting to it, and he gives you opportunities to make plays for even an interception prop if you want it, because he'll just go off script and throw it out there. But yeah, I was gonna check those sack props with like Phillips or whoever, just to kind of see what we're at, or half a sack. Is it quarter of a sack plus money? I might sprinkle there, just because I mean, just watching that, it's like, man, there's a pretty good shot to get after Will Levis with that offensive line and some of the decisions he makes. But yeah, the lines weren't out yet
Yeah.
last time I saw it. But that was something I was going to check on anyway.
Yeah, that's a good call, right? And that's half the battle with this is identify the situation that's going to give us what we want, and then go find the bet that matches that afterwards. Yeah. Beautiful. All right, good stuff, buddy. Tell the people what you got going on this year, where they can find you. Any announcements for the crowd?
Oh, right on, man. You can find all my work over at footballguys.com. I do the weekly waiver report. It's a tool on our site. It's not in article form. It's a tool that you can click on in the tool section, oddly enough, right? And it'll show you offensive players, defensive players. It'll just list them all in its own separate little deal. And it's pretty cool. It coincides with our apps, the Football Guys apps. I'm not going to pretend to know how all the tech stuff works because I'm an idiot that's not very tech savvy, but it's really cool. But yeah, so I do that waiver report each week, and just update the dynasty ranks and checking my 20 to 30 lineups and bets each week, trying to make sure we got the active players and active bets,
I hear you, buddy. It's been a struggle, but we'll get there. We always do.
Yeah. But hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. This was a lot of fun as always.
Yeah, thank you, man. I do appreciate it. You're an OG. You've been around here for a long time and done really, really good work throughout. So I appreciate you, buddy.
That, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Please make sure you're following him on Twitter at KBelf, BELLF 54 on Twitter. All right, folks, before we get out of here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel for our other shows, the IDP Show, the IDP After Show, the IDP Trade Show, and IDP Drafts. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so for just $5 a month over at theidpshow.com. We've got premium features for paid supporters that we know you'll enjoy. Follow us on Twitter at the IDP Show, all one word. Thank you for listening. Good luck this week, everyone. Hope you guys have a good week 4 and that all your bets work out. And we'll catch you next week, same time, same place.